Hey guys. I don't know. Does that look good? Does does that look good? I don't know. It's gonna have to do. But first of all, yes, it has been quite a while, and I've been very noticeably absent. I'm sorry about that. I've just been very focused on outside matters outside of YouTube, and outside of the internet in general. I've been very much focusing on, well, for one, getting a job, and which I have. I've gotten a new job. I got hired. I got offered the opportunity to be to woo. Okay, words, Matt. Use your words. Uh, I was given the opportunity for employment by my local hospital, and so I am. Well, today I have an appointment at noon to go get fully immunized. Words. I can't talk today for some reason. That's never happened before. Uh, but I'm gonna go get fully immunized and get my first COVID shot. I'm also gonna get a new I'm gonna update my flu shot because that stuff is required before I start working at a hospital. Um, so I'm gonna get that stuff done today. Uh, can I help you? Okay, being bothered early. It's barely past 8:30 a.m. and I'm already being bothered by people, but it's fine. See, when I and I should clarify, when I say I'm being bothered, I'm don't take that literally. You're not bothering me. You're just poking at me and wanting me to interact with you, which is 100% acceptable. I welcome that. Not everybody picks up on that so quickly. You're welcome to come and bug me because I like being bugged. I like being bothered. I like being I like interacting. I guess that's as good a segue into my next point as any. I used to be better at this, believe it or not. But it has been a wild ride. I don't know. I've been really reflecting a lot the past couple weeks. Um, Mostly on myself, because you can't really reflect on other people, because you don't always fully know other people. But I've been reflecting a lot on myself, and I have changed a lot. Um, from me now to me when I started 5.5 years ago. Good lord, I'm fast approaching 6 years of making content. That's no short span of time, everybody. In the 6 years I've been making YouTube, I could have stuck with college and been miserable for 6 years and gotten a master's degree at this point. Uh, I could have had my master's degree at this point. God, I'm getting old. Uh, and a month, and I'm gonna be 24 in a month. 24 years old in a month. A month from today, actually, because today's the 4th of March. And a month from now, I was born 24 years ago. Good lord. interesting. But yeah, I've been reflecting a lot on myself, and I have opened up immensely compared to almost 6 years ago. I was very much a shut in and a recluse, a loner, even when I first popped onto the scene, when I first started making content. And now I am so outwardly social, it's almost scary. Um, and I'm a needy bitch anyway, so I need a daily dose of social interaction. Otherwise, my whole day is thrown out of whack. Um, I didn't bother a whole lot of people yesterday because last night was karaoke night. It was the first time I got invited out for karaoke night, and I went out. I got drunk. I had fun, and it was a blast. It was fun, and I talked with a bunch of people that I hadn't talked to in ages. um, and I went to bed at 2 a.m. and woke up at 6. So I've only gotten 4 hours of sleep, but I feel great. I feel fantastic. Like, I don't feel exhausted like I normally would when I get this little sleep, but I feel refreshed. Like, I feel reinvigorated because it's that social injection that I needed to really get me going. And hopefully it'll launch me off into doing better things. Hopefully. I was talking to B yesterday that after we finish Resident Evil Village, I'm gonna do Dark Souls. I told him this yesterday, and he was like, "Yes, just yes." Because B is a huge fan of the FromSoft games, and I can't blame him. Because, well, for one, he's been playing Elden Ring a lot. Ever since he got it, almost last week, he's been playing it nonstop. And I'm happy for him. I'm glad he got that. He managed to get something he was really looking forward to. Oh god. Not to mention B has got new parts for his PC, so hopefully he'll be able to start playing better games and get off of his toaster. So that's a good thing. I don't know. It's just it's so strange to look at my life and not think about all of the things that have shaped me as a person. I mean, obviously, yeah, I had a life before YouTube. But I think what some people don't understand is my life was in shambles before I started making content. Because I had lost... Because when I was young, when I lost... It basically felt like I lost my brother. He was my cousin. But he was basically my brother because we all grew up together. He, my older sister, and we all grew up together. We were a trio for most of our lives. He was practically my older brother. The older brother I never had. And I always wanted. I'd lost him. And it destroyed me mentally. And I carried that with me all the way through high school. I'd finished middle school. I carried it with me all the way through high school. And it was finally time for little Matt to become a man and go to college. And it was expected of me to go to college. I wasn't exactly given a choice. So I was like, okay, let's give this a shot. And I gave it a shot. And it only took me one semester and a half ish, to figure out that college life was not for me. The people were fine. People were fine. I got along with my professors fine. I got along with my fellow students just fine. And it just wasn't for me. And I recognize that. And I know my mother is still not happy about it. Even to this day, it's been almost 6 years and she's still not happy about it. See, and to also put this in perspective, I was diagnosed. Oh God. I don't know what was in my throat. That was gross. I apologize. I feel better now. But I was diagnosed with ADHD really, really, really early in life. So I was doped up on medication as soon as possible. Because that's how you treated it back when I was growing up. It isn't as socially accepted as it is now. And, God, I really sound like an old man now, don't I? It wasn't until... Good Lord, what was it? I think it was after my first attempt on my life that they stopped putting me on ADHD medication. And started doping me up with antidepressants instead. Which is not a good way to treat depression, by the way. There's a lot healthier ways than medication. I'm biased, though, so if it works for you, that's great. Not for me. So, good Lord. And it's... But yeah, like I said, it's not for me. I have a huge bias against medicating a so-called mental illness, because I don't consider ADHD and ADD a mental illness. And to put this in a little more perspective, if I were to show you an everyday interaction with my family, you would be able to tell that I stand out very differently from all of them because of the way they talk to me. And I'm not trying to paint my family in a bad light. I love my family. They're the best family I could have asked for. But it is very hard sometimes to keep a straight face and not get frustrated when they're talking to you as if they're talking to a 10-year-old all the time. Like, I was talking to my mother about all of what I needed to start my job yesterday. And it just felt like I was back. It just felt like I never it just felt like she never stopped viewing me as the little 10-year-old with some attention issues. Because just because I have ADHD doesn't make me any different from any other being on the planet. I'm still a human. Albeit I would consider myself more empathetic than most. Because I'm very much the self-sacrificial type. I'll throw myself on the blade for other people at the drop of a hat. Any day of the week. My webcam is dusty. Yeah. But it... I don't know what's in my throat. You'll have to excuse me. But I live in a household where my hobbies are not looked upon favorably, is probably the nicest way I can put that. Like, my mother, I don't think my mother fully understands what I do when I play games and be obnoxious for several hours at a time. I don't think she understands that just because I don't make money from it doesn't mean it's not a waste. Just doesn't mean it's a waste of time. You know what I mean? And again, I love my mom, but I think she puts her value in her career over her hobbies that she actually enjoys. And I feel like she's lost touch with what that's like. And I'm the polar opposite, where I value my hobbies over my career. You know, I don't know if I'm communicating this correctly. I'm probably not. Most of you think I'm an asshole talking bad about my mom. I'm really not. My mother's fantastic. If you've met her, she's one of the nicest people you'll have ever met. It's why she's the main reason why I'm so nice. Because she rubbed off on me a lot. But it's, I don't know. It's one of those things where, see, my mother is also not a very technical person. She doesn't get games and such, even though she's played video games before. Back when I was younger, my mother would absorb herself in Super Mario. I think it was on the DS. When it came out on the DS, she really got into it. She would also... We had an old Game Boy, and we had Super Mario 3. Was it Super Mario 3? I can't remember. But and she would play it a lot, and she beat the game before me or my sister ever did. And when I was younger, I'm not gonna lie, when I was younger, I was a pretty dumb kid. But you can't really fault me, because I was very sheltered from a lot of things. Like, for example, I didn't know what divorce was when I was younger, and all I ever saw, because no one explained it to me, like, you could still explain things to me and I would understand it and retain it. Even if I didn't understand the concept fully because I was a kid, I would understand. But no one did that. And all I ever saw was my parents fighting, and all I ever wanted to do was to get them to stop fighting because I didn't understand the context as to why they were fighting. Um, and it wasn't until after the whole debacle was over with that someone finally explained it to me, and it wasn't my parents, what divorce was. And eventually I was explained to why they got divorced. Um, good lord. So just all of that baggage, I was carrying all of that baggage into 2016, where I was in the middle of college, in the middle of my first semester of college, and I already knew that I wasn't going to be sticking with it very long, even though I stuck with it longer than I ever wanted to. Because I continued to go to school way into, what was it, March? I think it was March, in the middle of that second semester ish that I dropped out. But I started making content. Like, I took my old shitty college laptop, which I still have. It's dirty as shit. But my old college laptop, this is what I used to make videos on for about a year and a half before I got a legit PC. This piece of shit. I played games on this for a long time before I got that old PC that I've given my brother. Like, my brother has my old PC. And I had that PC longer, twice as long as I had this one. So and when I started, I had a cheap mic. I was still using my desk, the big wooden one, the giant one. I hated that desk. I hated that desk with a passion. We finally got rid of that desk about a couple years ago. And I'm glad. I was happy to tear that piece of shit apart, because it was awful. It was a terrible desk. It wasn't stable. It was falling apart, and I hated it. Because I've had this desk. Good lord, how long have I had this desk? I got this desk before I got this PC. And I got this PC back in November. Was it November? It was either October or November. November. But I got this PC, my baby, my $5,000 PC. Not counting all the other stuff that I had to buy. Well, had to. Well, I had to get new monitors because the old monitor that my brother has, did not have HDMI ports, and this PC does not have AVG ports. The big blocky blue screw-in plug, it doesn't have those ports on it because it's a modern PC and not a previous gen PC. So yeah, I had to toss that old monitor out. Granted, these are way better. This one, my main one, on this side, because this one right here is my everyday use monitor, like all the regular stuff that I do. This is my gaming monitor. Because for one, the color grading on this monitor is much different than the other one. Like, oh good lord, hang on, I'm gonna move you guys real quick. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell the difference between the colors. Also, yeah, there's you guys. You're in my Bandicam box right now. But I don't know if you can tell the difference between the colors, but they're very different. Also, shout out to Eden. Eden made this, and it's gorgeous, and it's been my desktop for years. Ever since she made it, actually. Ever since Eden made that, I've used it as my desktop background for forever because I love it. It's amazing. Eden's a fantastic artist, and I applaud. I look at it and I applaud it every day. I probably should get a new background at one point, but I like it. It's so good. And I don't know. I've gotten ahead of myself, haven't I? Uh-oh. But when I started making content, I was very different. I was a lot more awkward. I didn't exactly know how to interact with the camera yet. Well, with you guys yet. I didn't know how to interact with you guys yet. Mostly because no one was watching back then. Not that anybody's watching now. I'm still nobody on the YouTube algorithm, which is fine. I'm not here for the numbers. I don't know. Like, it makes me cringe every time I go back and see some of those old videos because I tried so desperately to sound professional and sound like I knew what I was doing. But I had no fucking clue what I was doing back then. I had no idea at all. And there's a bunch of games and stuff that I did back then that I still absolutely adore. Amnesia, Dead Space 2, which I need to finish hardcore on Dead Space 2 at one point. Cause I'm close. I was close to getting to my last save. Or not my last save, my second save, which was at the Ishimura. I was so close, and I killed myself again. Uh, and I knew better than to try again while I was frustrated. So I will attempt more Dead Space 2 hardcore live again soon. Probably after B and I finish Resident Evil Village, because the point that we're at in Resident Evil Village is the point that I want to talk about the most in Resident Evil Village. Which is Heisenberg's factory, which is by far the best section in the game. It's the best designed, it has the best atmosphere, and arguably has the best boss fight. Because the final boss sucks, and Chris's section is boring. Lord. So, oh god, God, what was some of the other things? But yeah, I didn't really hit my stride in making videos. I probably didn't start hitting my stride until I met Tom. For those of you who don't know who Tom is a Twitch streamer. Legit Dinosaur. I'm gonna shout him out. Shameless plug. Legit Dinosaur. Literally one of the coolest people I've ever met. I met Tom, and basically everything took off from there. Because I met a pretty fantastic group of people in Tom's server. God, Lindsay, Alex, Steph. God, Lord. Really hope all of them are doing all right now that I'm really thinking about it, because Steph doesn't want to have anything to do with me anymore, which is perfectly understandable. I get that. Lindsay left the internet. And Alex has his own life. I still have him friended on Steam, but I don't talk to him as often as I probably should. If at all, which is at all. I haven't talked to him at all. It's because it's been so long, it would just be awkward to just suddenly pop up and say, hey, remember me? And the answer is going to be most invariably, oh yeah, you're that one asshole. And I just have to concede and be like, yeah. Cause, and I'd also like to point out that I didn't hit my peak, what I would consider my peak in terms of my presence on the internet. My peak was when I met Mania. And I know people are going to sit there rolling their eyes. Oh God, he's going to talk about Mania again. Yeah, I am going to talk about Mania again, because she's awesome. She's creative, and she's a fantastic person. Who I very much wronged for a long time. And it cost me her trust, and most importantly, her friendship for a long time. Personally, I still think I haven't earned back her friendship. And it hurts me to know that, because she was probably my closest friend at that time. And I'm not going to go into that story again. You all know it by now. And it, as much as I hate being defined by my faults, I can't really blame anybody for viewing me as that guy, because I was that guy. I used to be that guy. I can't just ignore that. If I was immature and some random douchebag, yeah, I would ignore it and move on and screw somebody else over, but I'm not. I'm a logical human being with remorse and I can't think of the words. I don't know, for lack of a better term, I feel really fucking shitty about it. I still do, to this day. Because I hurt Mania, I hurt a lot of the people who legitimately cared about me at the time, and I alienated a lot of them for a very long time. And it took me a very long time to cope and to reassess and to apologize. And I personally, I still feel like I haven't apologized enough. Because I'm of the I'm of the stance that I've done something unforgivable and can never atone enough and never apologize enough to make that any better. And it, as much as it hurts to know that people still define me by things that have already come and gone and define me by a person that I'm not anymore, I can't exactly shun those people or shame those people because, well, for one, shaming people for thinking I'm a shitty person is shitty in itself. But for two, they're just some of the consequences that I've had to accept of my actions. And I'm more than willing to accept those consequences because I'm the one that helped cause it to be as bad as it was. And I hurt a lot of people. And I'm not going to shy away from that. I'm going to own up to that because, one, that's the responsible thing to do. And two, it's the mature thing to do. I fucked up. So instead of running away from it and denying that I fucked up, I'm going to take it on head on and apologize and accept the consequences. Because that's what I need to do. And I'm incredibly grateful for the second chances I have been given, especially by Mania and several other people. But I'm also really grateful to get all of the toxic people that I surrounded myself with at the time. I'm glad to be rid of those people. 'Cause it's never disgusted me more. I've never been more disgusted of myself than I am now of who I used to be. Because I became that which I hated most, which was I became a toxic, vengeful, immature little boy who wanted nothing but to get back at the people who think wronged him. And instead of directing that, he lashed out at everybody. And it disgusts me to think to to remember that I used to be that way. It very much disgusts me. I never not think about it, because there are some people out there who think that I don't think about all the things that I did. I do. I have a conscience. I think about the wrong things that I've done in my life a lot. And I think about all the things that I wish I had done better a lot. And I don't know. I feel really bad now because I've very much dampened the mood. I have a bad habit of doing this a lot. Um, I I don't know. Basically, the moral of the story is I am a vastly different person now than I was then. And no, I'm not just talking about a couple years ago when I was a toxic, vindictive shit. I'm talking about from the very beginning. Way back in late 2016 when I uploaded my first video. I was way more introverted then than I am now. I'm very much more extroverted than I used to be, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. Well, it's a good and a bad thing. Because like I said before, I have a daily recommended dose of social interaction that I need. And my qualifications for social interaction are not the same as everybody else's. As a personal preference, I enjoy VCs, voice chats, much more than typing. Because typing, for me, it's so indirect and it's so easily taken out of context. Like, you never fully are able to express yourself in regular typing chats. And I know there are some people who can do that. I'm not one of those people. I prefer a voice chat because that means I can use my own voice to connect with another person using their voice. And that's how I connect with people. I don't know if I ever explained that. I don't know. It's I'm very different is what I'm trying to get across. Is I'm very, very different. And some people are good with that and some people are not. And it's just do whatever you want. I can't really do anything. I don't know. Forgot how liberating it is to just talk about these things. You would think I've learned by now that talking about these things that are on my mind and getting them out of my brain because I think that's another thing that some people don't understand about these vlogs. When I make a vlog about an issue that I'm having, it is not to target it at some people. It is to get those thoughts out of my brain and to talk about them. Because the sooner I get those nasty or depressing thoughts out of my brain, the sooner I cannot think about them and go on with a normal day with a better attitude. Do I always communicate it very well? As much as I've talked about in this video how much I've changed, I still have a lot to improve on, which for one of those things is expressing myself correctly. I'm not always good at that. I'm never going to claim that I'm good at that because I'm not. And none of you should expect me to be good at that. Because these things, they take time. It's taken me almost 5.5 years to get to this point. So it's probably going to take me another 5.5 to be even better. Because change takes time. And I think that's some concepts that some people don't grasp, is people don't change overnight. And there are some idiots out there who say people don't change. People change. It's just not as fast as you'd like them to. Or for lack of a better term, people don't change just because you want them to. I've always been of the mindset, don't change yourself for anybody. Always be yourself. But you also have to be conscious enough to know when some of the things that you're doing are not okay. And to change yourself for the better. Not only for your own mental well-being, but for those around you as well. Because it definitely reflects. Your mental state plays a lot into your everyday life, whether you realize it or not. But anyway, I think I'm done rambling. I think this is the first overly long vlog that I've had in a long time where I've just sat here and rambled. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I feel a lot better now that I've gotten my thoughts out. I'm ready to face today and the rest of the next week now, because it's Friday, it's the end of the week. It's almost the weekend. I don't know. Just if any of you stuck with the video this long, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me ramble and get out all of my crazy thoughts. Yeah, and I hope you guys have a great day. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. I say it all the time, but I mean it. I mean it every time I say it. Thank you all. And I'll see you guys in the next video or stream or whatever I do next. I don't know. I don't plan things. You think I would, but I don't. And I'll see you all later. Bye.